Well, let's dig a bit deeper into this story now. We can talk to Robert Kelley from the Stockholm Institute of Peace Research Institute, who's been following the development of this reactor closely. Well, thanks for joining us here on the programme. How does this reactor differ from previous ones?
Good morning. This is a really interesting topic to take up. The reactor is very innovative. It incorporates, I would say, at least 3 technologies that have never been put together before. So in that sense, it's quite a risk for the Russians, but I think it's one worth taking. When I say risk, I don't mean safety risk. I mean that it is a risk economically to see if all these different elements will fit together. In particular, it's a very safe design. It doesn't have the potential to explode in the same way that something like Chernobyl did. It just can't do that.
Well, with the world increasingly calling for electric power now, is it time that Europe sort of followed Russia's lead and reconsidered nuclear?
You're asking for a personal opinion, of course, but I'm a nuclear engineer, and I think nuclear energy can be safe. It can be safer than it is now, and this new design is a good way to go. It's a design that's intended to produce more fuel than it burns, which is possible in the world of physics. And it is safe because it uses a liquid metal coolant that can't explode like in a steam explosion. So I think Europe is making quite a mistake by not looking at new kinds of nuclear energy.
But how do you convince the Europeans then that this is the safe way forward, given those previous accidents which have happened?
The reactor doesn't share characteristics of the reactors that have had accidents. It's really quite different in that sense. It doesn't have this huge potential for a steam explosion, which is what happened in other cases. The other problem that you have here is that there's a monopoly running the reactor business around the world, from South Korea to France to the US, and they are all basing everything they do on these very large water-cooled reactors, and they've been very effective at shutting out competition. If the Europeans would look to the Russians for an alternative design, they might see that there are some real advantages to what's proposed. If I might add one other thing, the exciting thing about this reactor is it's burning plutonium from old Russian nuclear weapons. It's part of a deal they made to get rid of nuclear weapons. So that's a very positive aspect of this new reactor.
Russia appears to be leading the way then, at least according to Robert Kelley from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Thanks for joining us on that new reactor story.